Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Fani Willis's brief to the Court of Appeals in Georgia contesting the motions, the appeals of Trump and others, saying that she should be disqualified from the case. Recall the long kind of circus-like hearing, at the end of which McAfee finds no financial conflict of interest, so doesn't disqualify her for that reason, finds sensibly enough that even if she and Wade, had a relationship and Wade paid for certain things, or she did in cash or whatever, it didn't rise to the level of even remotely of saying that's the reason why she did certain things and hired him, or much less that was a kind of a divided loyalty. She wanted to keep getting the desserts, and that affected the prosecution of Trump. So he decided that, but then on the second half of it, had the appearance of conflict where he basically forced the office into everybody's resigning from Fani Willis on down, or Wade's resigning. And of course, with that sort of gun to their head, Wade quickly resigned. Nevertheless, Trump asked permission, which he needed to get in the first instance, from McAfee to appeal, and he and others now have appealed and have filed their motion in the Court of Appeal. And they give three reasons why Fani Willis should be disqualified. And the first is this conflict of interest, the thing that really the trial was all about, or the evidentiary hearing back in McAfee's court. The thing we were all focused on that I just summarized, was there some financial entanglement between the two of them that, again, somehow prejudiced the rights of the defendant. You really need something very serious and vivid to have it. Maybe you're getting paid to be on TV, so you want to extend the trial, something that literally frames a conflict between your financial interests and your duty to aggressively and ethically prosecute the defendant. Nothing there. So the Fani Willis's office starts by saying, there's nothing to revisit here, court. And then just notice the whole second half, an appearance of conflict of interest, that went against Fani Willis, and he found that there was one, and offered a remedy, and they're not arguing now. They can't really, that's the reason she should be disqualified. So they have not appealed that part, as I suggested at the time when it happened. Struck me as somewhat controversial, pretty far reaching for him to grab onto that. But nevertheless, there's no issue on appeal. That leaves two issues left on appeal that Trump has raised. They are both under the category of forensic misconduct, which is Georgia's specific term that basically means a officer of the court, or in this case the DA, has done something wrong that really has prejudiced the defendant. And Trump offers two possibilities. The first is the statements that Fani Willis made around the time of the whole sort of debacle, including her appearance at church. And recall, McAfee took her to task for that. Suggested, she had played the race card and was otherwise pretty tough on her. But, says her office, no, statements like that, they have to be really egregious, really out of line, really evince a absolute prejudice against, and an irrational one that is separated from the evidence, against the defendant, in order to rise to the level of forensic misconduct that would authorize a dismissal. So the court dealt with that. He was, rough on her, but not enough to justify dismissal. And the DA's office says the same thing here. Then the other effort at forensic misconduct that Trump and company try to proffer is supposed lies at the hearing. And you remember at the hearing, I didn't think they should have been going there in the first place, but McAfee let there be a whole series of witnesses on the question, when precisely did Willis and Wade begin their relationship, and had a witness testify in conflict with Wade and Willis, that it had happened early, had the whole drama trying to get Wade's attorney, who had texted one of the defense attorneys in the incestuous junior high atmosphere that is Fulton County bar, that they had started earlier. But basically, McAfee, as the DA's office says here, look, he didn't make any findings. He did a few things that took her to task. At one point, he even seemed to be questioning her credibility, but no findings here for the Court of Appeals to try to latch on to. No basis on the cold record to somehow say she had lied. There, you might have been a little suspect, but no basis to say she had lied. And besides which, there would be a whole subsequent step of trying to show that, let's say she had lied about when the relationship had begun. Why would that justify the disqualification of her office from prosecuting the case? I think it would not, but they don't need to reach that, says the DA, because there's no findings here and there's no reason to depart from what Judge McAfee did. Okay, so 3 issues here, not just one. So we have the one of, was there a financial conflict of interest, and his findings, they say, were strong, and they were strong. It's very far-fetched to think there's some financial conflict of interest that actually prejudices the defendants. And then 2 instances of alleged forensic misconduct in statements by Fani Willis, and in the potential not telling the truth on the stand, neither of which, says the DA, rise to the level of permitting a disqualification. So they say the bottom line here is, don't take the case, Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal now has 45 days from 10 days or so ago to roughly speaking, to decide whether or not to take the case. And they're saying don't take it. Of course, if they do take it, if they find, well, we're not sure, but might be something there, so we think we should take it up, that would, even though McAfee has said back down in the trial level, we're going to keep going forward, that's gonna, I think, exert a real gravitational pull that'll make it yet more unlikely that the case goes to trial, even begins to go to trial before November. So that's sort of the stakes of things. Will the Court of Appeal take the case? And the DA says don't do it. The 3 reasons that Trump and company have proffered, none of them cuts it. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.